Well, first off, before we get into the main game, just wanted to, it's kind of a sad day for Richmond football family. Ray Tate, former coach here, former player, great supporter, passed away, and you know, he's been one of the reasons that Richmond football has gotten to where it is, and sad to hear he passed away, and just want to pass on our condolences to his family, and but he's meant a lot to this program, and you know, our thoughts and prayers with he and his family. Moving on to Maine, very good football team coming in here. Obviously 5-1, playing really well. Coach Cosgrove's done an excellent job up here for a long time. They got 8 starters back on both offense and defense, and just a solid all-around good football team. Not flashy, but they do a lot of good things. You know, very good quarterback, running back, solid offensive line, good receivers. So they got some good playmakers on offense, and then on defense they keep it simple, but they play hard and they play fast. And on special teams, you always got to be ready for what Coach Cosgrove does some things there with fakes and different alignments and things like that to keep you on your toes. They've done a nice job, obviously, against James Madison. It helped them win the game in a 2-point play. But we're excited about the opportunity. We got a week off there. Hopefully, we had some good weeks, a good week of practice last week, and a good week so far this week. So we're looking forward to the game this Saturday.
Let's go. Questions?
If I could ask you one question about Ray, how much support did he give you? Was he able to give you this year with everything that you went through, and in the past? He's omnipresent, but you almost don't see him around here sometimes.
Well, he was obviously his health had declined and wasn't able to be around like he had been in the past. But he was always, his support was always known whether he was here or not, and you always knew behind the scenes he was helping out with Richmond football. And you know, he over the years he was one of the. If you needed something with Richmond football, I know a lot of the past head coaches, Coach Clausen, Coach Scott, I'm sure Coach London as well, used him as a resource to help, but just a tremendous person and tremendous loss for the program.
Coach, do you think this bye week came at a good time? Maybe a chance to sort of reset and look at what worked, what didn't work, and
no doubt. I think it more than anything, it helped us get back to the fundamentals last week, do some basic stuff, get some technique things worked on special teams, offense and defense, and then helped our guys get some rest. We had some guys beat up, just like most teams do this time of year. Everybody gets beat up. We were beat up in certain areas more than others, and certainly that helped those situations to try to get some guys back healthy and got the guys away. Hopefully recharge their batteries a little bit to get ready for the stretch run, because we're excited about moving forward here, and what's past is past. All we're trying to do now is get to 1-0 on this second half and get our record to 4-3.
It's nice not having to travel to Maine to get all the way up there.
Well, Maine's a nice place, but no, it is nice to be at home, no doubt about it, and to stay here in Robins Stadium with homecoming crowd should be a great atmosphere. It looks like we'll have nice weather, so looking forward to Saturday.
Hey, can I use that question to ask you one about not having to get on a plane to play a game? It's the first time in probably 30 years Richmond hadn't jumped on a plane to play a game. Are there advantages to that, or time is time regardless of whether you're on a bus?
Well, it's certainly nice not to have to deal with all that, and I think the furthest trip is Delaware, so that is definitely a nice plus. I mean, I've been some years I had to fly, like last year we flew back-to-back weeks up to New England, so that definitely made it tough, and as far as that went. But we are glad that we didn't have to go up there, but you take the schedule how it unfolds and go with it.
Maine's been extraordinary in turnover margin. What's the key there? New Hampshire's always been good at that too, it seems like. But what is it that allows them to excel in that department?
Well, I think when you get they've had obviously they must do a good job preaching it and doing what they talk about. The quarterback's done a real nice job protecting the ball up there, and I think they've only had 4 total the whole year, so they're #1 in the turnover margin. Usually when you see the top teams in the league every year, you look at it, the top 2 or 3, the turnover margin is a big deal, and that's one of the big facets of our talk this week with the guys. Just make sure we protect the ball on our side and our defense to do a better job of when the opportunity presents itself to make a play, whether it's a tip pass or a ball right to us or a strip. that's some of the things we got to make sure we try to get some of those plays.
Coach, some would call Maine an unlikely leader in CAA. You know, what do you think, mindset-wise, what's gone kind of right for them that might be surprising?
I think Coach Cosgrove, I read a quote he said the other day, and he just said experience. You know, 8 starters back on both sides of the ball. If you look at their lineup, there are a lot of juniors and seniors. So that's first and foremost. They've been there. You know, they lost some close games last year, so I think they, you know, that experience with those games last year helped them with this year, and I think that's kind of the deal. You know, they've had a good, solid program for a while. He's a good football coach, and they got a good veteran team. You know, I've played against them when I was here before, and they're always a good football team. So, you know, he does a good job, and I think that's a big part of it as well.
Does that make them one of the more balanced teams that you've played this year? Maybe not in terms of actual numbers, but in terms of they do all 3 aspects pretty well.
Yeah, they're very balanced. They really are, and that's something that's a challenge for us. And one of our big challenges this week, and I've mentioned to the team as well, is we need to get back to playing a complete game where we can put all 3 phases, play a good football game together. We've kind of seemed to be good one week on one side, not as good on the other, or good for a half, not as good here. If we can get full game effort out of our group, and as far as just putting together a complete game, I think it'll certainly help us this Saturday.
That being said, how big is this one? I mean, you've been grinding it for a few weeks. I mean, how big is this game on Saturday?
Well, they're all big. You know, that's just the way it goes. But it certainly would help us to get a win. And our kids are focused. I think they're ready. They'll be ready to go. They're looking forward to it. And yeah, certainly anytime you get the leading team in the conference coming down to your place and it's homecoming, it certainly qualifies as a big game.
I would imagine after Towson, 3rd straight loss, lots of just kind of frustration. And I think sometimes maybe frustration might not be the best thing to have. Does having kind of a couple weeks to sort of process what has sort of gone wrong in the past 3 weeks, has that helped?
Well, I mean, I think it's natural to have a little bit of that, but I think our kids have done a good job with, you know, bouncing back and having good practices and coming back ready to go. I mean, it's obviously not where you want to be in that where you lose 3 in a row, but we can't dwell on that. We got to move forward and got to win the next game, and that's what we got to do. And you know, we can't worry about. I think we worked in the off week to correct some things, and like I said, get some guys healthy, and that was the biggest challenge for us, is just get some guys healthy and correct some of the mistakes, and then move forward. So I think we'll be able to do that.
Wayne Trey is close to a couple of records that have been long-standing here at Richmond. Can you talk a little bit about his progression over the years that you've seen him? I mean, when he was young, as he'll admit, there was obviously a time when he wasn't so sure he'd be in this position here at Richmond.
Well, I wasn't here his first year. I was here when we recruited him, and when Coach Hansen recruited him down there in Texas. And you know, the 2 years that I've been here, he's really come along. I mean, he's always been a talented guy, but he's really developed not only that, but his leadership skills, and he's really become one of one of the top 2 or 3 leaders on the team. Just his example that he sets and how he carries himself, and in playing wise, I think a lot of it has to do between this year and last year. Now we got a little bit more certainty at the quarterback position. I mean, he was obviously a good player last year too, and he's even transformed even better. He's running routes better. He's getting to the right depths. He's doing all the little things that make a good receiver. So he's come along, and then partly on top of that too, he's had consistent quarterback play each week with Aaron in there that's helped him out a bunch. But his development, I mean, he's got to go down as one of the best receivers, you know, and some would argue the best. You know, I wasn't around for all the rest of them. I was around for Armand Shields, and those guys are in the same category as far as the type of playmakers they've been here. And we're glad we got him, and look forward to a lot of good things here the last half of the season.